China-Laos Railing on Track to Boost Trade Tourism by Chao Runing, China Diary Global Update 2021 4/20. Both countries benefit from multi-billion dollar projects. Modern railway benefits a country economy in many different ways. To name a few, they make it easier for bulky goods to be transported over long distances, reduce travel time between villages and cities, and provide variety degrees of control comfort for travelers. For Benin Kong, 33, quarter-owner and co-founder of a tour company in Laos, Laos is poised to bring more domestic and international tourists to the country. Kong, a Singaporean who lives in Laos, set up the May Lao Home boutique hotel 40 years ago after a backpacking trip to Laos, during which he discovered there were demand for hotels in Luang Prabang, a former Laotian capital, and the World Heritage Site list by United Nations educational, scientific, and cultural organizations. I visited the country when I was 18 as a many tourists sleeping in temples and on the streets. So I just seen the opportunity to then get started, he said. Kong's business has grown in tandem with the tourism industry in Laos. My Lao home launched in 2007 to 12 bedroom guest house, now has more than 60 rooms and has benefited as more overseas have traveled to Laos over the past decade. Before the pandemic hit, the world hard tourists arrived in Laos grew by 11.5% year-on-year in 2019, taking the country to 16th place on a list of the top 20 fastest growing tourism destinations, according to United Nations World Tourism Organization. Very soon, 57,000 Chinese visitors arrived in Laos in 2019, a result about 26% over the same period of the previous year. Kong attributes growth in the tourism sector to improved infrastructure such as airports and roads. In December, the first motorway in Laos, constructed as part of the China proposed Belt and Rail initiative, open to traffic, linking the capital Vientiane and the tourist-oriented town of Wangwing. However, for Kong, the highway is not enough. He is looking to China-Laos Railway, which is under construction and is expected to open the end of this year. Operating speed as a part of BRI China-Laos began to work on rail projects in December 2016. The railway link Kunming capital of Yunnan province and Vientiane with an operating speed of 160 km per hour. The multi-billion-dollar project will be built to Chinese rail standards. The large parts of Laotian territory comprise mountain ranges, highland areas, and branches with rivers winding their way through this terrain. More than 60% of the new line consists of plains and tunnels which have posed technical difficulties. During the construction work, our China Railway Corps, a joint venture based in Vientiane, are responsible for building and operating a line which is due to open in December. Xiao Guiwen, General Manager of The company said the project is proceeding smoothly. As of New Year's Eve, the main work had been completed, including 75 tunnels, 164 links, and 118 broad bed sections. More than 60% of the tracks has also been laid, Shell told Xinhua. The 122 kilometers rail journey between Kunming and Wenting expected to take less than 10 hours, compared to 30 hours journey, with the tourism industry in Laos standing to benefit. To reform the expected rise in rail passenger traffic, Kong has prepared well for the new line with his company converting an ancient building in Rong Prabang into a 58-room hotel. He said he hoped the project would be completely by the end of this year, adding it would not have thought about expanding were it not for the BRA. In 2019, Kong and his business partners launched Discover Laos today, an online travel platform providing videos and pictures of the country tourist destinations. Going digital not only served him well when tourist industry was badly hit by the pandemic, but it also could help attract more foreign visitors when border restrictions are lifted. The website runs 3 languages, Lao, English, and Thai, and we plan to launch our Chinese language site by the end of this year, he says. Kang added that he will also consider offering a China-Laos tour package of the new line opens. In the past, most foreign visitors come to Laos, but did not visit China because it was convenient after the line starts operating a kind of a package tourist in both countries, he said. Song Kui Grant, an associate professor at Beijing Foreign Students University's School of Asian Studies, says the line is expected to boost the local economy and improve people's livelihoods. For example, it will make life easier for people who live along the route, as transportation charges for commodities and expected to fall sunset. In the report released in June, the World Bank said that by linking with the West BRI network, the China Railway could potentially raise incomes in Laos by up to 21% in long term. The real project has created thousands of jobs and generated additional economic activities in Laos, according to local media reports. The project has also broadened the knowledge working on it. After joining the Lao China Railway Chorus and in June, Dallas Swansea Bunhan 25 started to run the modern railway technologies since January. He has taken part in outside training programs provided by the company. He has learned a great deal from laying tracks to checking and repairing locomotives, which he wants to drive when the line opens. I'm not sure if I can become a driver, but experience I have gained from the project means a lot to me. I have been able to learn various technologies step by step, he said. The programs welcome not just employees engaged in the projects, but also workers eager to seize the opportunity to learn new skills. According to China Railway, no 2 engineering clubs, which is involved in projects more than 10,000 routing workers have benefited from the training. Xiadu Guang, an associate researcher in Southeast Asian studies at the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, said the new rail link will have trade between the two countries, taking it to a new stage. Transporting large cargoes to China currently involves long and arduous journey. They are first taking the truck for Winton to Kunming, which takes more than 30 hours after being unloaded in Kunming. They are then taken by road to their destination cities across China, she said. Highway high-speed drive will shorten the journey time for half a day, he said, adding that, for example, passengers will be able to leave Fintin in the evening and arrive Kunming next morning. Just as in the line will also spend exchange and increase cooperating between the two countries. Sino-Russian trade has grown rapidly in recent years. In China is now large biggest foreign investor in the country's second largest trading partner after Thailand. On the front line, journals which board Laos has been on the front line of exchange between the two nations, as well as other member countries of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations and ASEAN. From January to October 2019, investment between Laos and Jordan reached 6.54 billion yuan, by cross-border trade loss by 32% year-on-year, according to mentioned times. Despite economic downturn triggered by the pandemic, Chinese investment in Laos reached 1.16 billion US dollars in the first 10 months of last year, a year-on-year increase of more than 20%. Before the pandemic emerged, trade between the two countries stood at 3.92 billion in 2019, which yes said was a big improvement, adding that there is still huge potential for expansion. If we compare this figure with those from other countries trading with China, it's not so big. There appears to be huge potential for China-Laos trade cooperation, where we may help take bilateral trade to higher level, he said. In December, China implemented zero tariff on 97% of goods imported from Laos. Last year, China and the Asian countries signed a regional comprehensive economic partnership, which is expected to boost mutual trade and investment along with economic integration. Some said the cross-border railway is also in line with the Russian government strategies of transforming the landlocked country into a land-linked economy. With a population of more than 7 million, Laos is the only landlocked country in Southeast Asia, with the majority of land depending on agriculture, mainly growing rice. Laying the heart of the Indo-Chinese Peninsula, Laos is bordered by Myanmar and China to the northwest, China to the east, Cambodia to the southeast, and Thailand in west and southwest. Over time, being landlocked has been regarded as a disadvantage. Such countries are cut off from marine resources such as fishing, and more important, have no access to seaborne trade, which comprises a large proportion of international trade. Being landlocked, Laos has lack of advantage of seaport logistics sources. The Russian government has been determined to overcome the country's geographical limitations by promoting the concept that Laos acts as a land link, providing the most direct overland transportation routes between its coastal neighbors. Laos also sees the BRI as an opportunity to build a modern, less railroad to catch up with rapidly evolving global chains. According to the World Bank report, the cross-border line could provide Laos with a link to global supply chains, making the country more attractive to investors. Transit trades through Laos along the railway corridor could reach an estimated 3.9 million tons per year by 2030, which would include a share of as estimated 1.5 million tons of trade from maritime transport to the railway, the report said. If law enforcement logistics and trade facilitation reforms, the railway could attract traffic currently using maritime and aeros. It could reduce land transport charges by 40% to 50% between Vientiane and Kunming and by 32% between Kunming and the port of Lam Chabang in Thailand. The railway is also an important section of the Pan-Asian Railway network, which forms part of the Trans-Asian Railway, a wide plan drawn up in the 1960s with the aim of creating an integrated rail freight network across Europe and Asia. However, international conflicts and political strife in the core area means that regional railways remain fragmented and there is no way to launch such a secure project. In 2006, the area with rivers and revived and formalized with a total of 18 years in Asia and Europe side intergovernmental agreement and the Trans-Asian Railway Network under the aspects of the UN Economics and Social Commission for Asian and the Pacific. With aims of promoting better economics and social integration between Asia and Europe, the agreement took effect in June 2009. The BRI has accelerated implementation of the plan. The Pan-Asian Railway Network in Southeast Asia, once of powerful reason, the Trans-Asian Railway connects Kunming and the Thai capital, Bangkok, and Singapore. There are three main routes from Kunming to Bangkok, via Vietnam, Cambodia to the east. The central route via Laos and the western one via Myanmar. Crucial for connecting China and Thailand, the China-Laos Railway is expected to inject new life into Southeast Asia as a whole. Chair from the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences said it will set a good example for construction of the Pan-Asia railway system. If the China-Thailand railway process is planned in coming years, it will form the central line of the Southeast Asian network, expanding trade and people-to-people exchange between China and Asian nations jihad so running at china.com.cn. This is from e-paper and china.com.cn.